David, this is a great story here at Eyejusters. Can you tell us a little bit about the company and the product that you designed and manufacture?
Yes, well, here at Eyejusters, we design, make, and sell adjustable glasses. That's glasses where you can actually change the strength of the lens. And we do that with our slide lens technology, wherein we have a moving element inside a sealed capsule in our lenses. And as that element moves back and forth, it actually changes the strength of the lens due to the very special shape of that element.
So what on earth gave you this idea?
Well, originally I was working on X-ray physics in the university here in Oxford, and nothing at all practical or anything like that. But I came across this problem. I found out that there were literally hundreds of millions of people in the world who couldn't see clearly simply for the lack of a pair of glasses. And there's been various attempts at doing this, and I knew about an attempt which involved liquid-filled lenses, but they were bulky, heavy, expensive to make. And so I felt that there must be a better approach, and really that was the genesis of the idea that led to Eyejusters.
So we talked about the vision and the design. Now the manufacture. You've obviously got here a tool room, in essence, where you're making, I assume, a lot of the tools for this product. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. By background, we're practical people. All four of us who founded the company are either physicists or engineers, and so we came at it from a very practical point of view. And definitely one of the key things I really wanted in the company was in-house capability. I found that, working with suppliers, especially with prototypes, when you use one-off or something like that, the lead times can often be very long. I completely understand that. But from our point of view, we wanted to be able to turn things around quickly. We wanted to be able to iterate quickly. And that's why it really made a lot of sense to build up our own in-house capability.
So pretty much as you opened the doors, you purchased this Hurco machining centre, didn't you, to enable you to do that?
Yeah, the Hurco was really a cornerstone of this approach. In fact, we're self-taught. Previously, I'd had plenty of jobs made on CNC machines for me back when I was a university physicist, but I never did them myself directly, but I was pretty confident, having seen the Hurco in action, having seen how easy it is to use, I was pretty confident that we'd be able to, make something out of it. So it was a bit of a leap of faith, but it was one sort of grounded in a lot of research that led up to that.
Yeah, and that leap of faith, you must have done the research and you must have had confidence in Hurco. But what were some of call them the points that pushed you in this brand's direction?
Yes, so it was a number of factors. First, value. With the Hurco VM10, we got a lot of bang for our buck, right out of the box. Everything from a very sophisticated controller, a very compact machine capable of doing a wide spectrum of work, but also, that sits very nicely within a workshop environment. And it also has, a very easy to use user interface, and that was critical for us because we wanted something that we'd be able to learn on and grow with.
I noticed from some of the parts that we can see here on the table, you do need an element of high-speed machining and obviously precision. What about the ultra motion on the Hurco control? How does that affect your machining, and how does that help?
Yes, well, this was our sort of journey with Hurco has been very much sort of a voyage of discovery. So we started off really thinking about sort of simple parts, prototype parts, and how we've used the Hurco has grown as we've learned more and more. And the Ultramotion has really been a very interesting feature and a very relevant feature to a lot of the work that we do now. It goes beyond the conventional high-speed machining. In conventional high-speed machining, machines look ahead, adjust the feeds to avoid accelerations. Ultramotion looks at the toolpath and actually smooths the toolpath ever so slightly to take out jerks and accelerations and give you the smoothest toolpath possible. And anyone who makes parts will tell you smooth toolpath equals fast toolpath and equals a high quality toolpath, a smooth cut, and therefore an excellent surface finish. And that's what Ultramotion gives you, and it's right there built into the machine. I still find it fascinating that Hurco do that, because it's a tremendously valuable feature. And for us, we use it a lot now because we do quite a lot of mould work. And when we're making a mould, it's critical that we hit a very tight accuracy and also an excellent surface finish.
And I think you said yourself you were surprised that this was an option that came as a standard.
Yes, yeah, it's interesting that Hurco do that, and it's something actually I very much liked about the Hurco, actually, that when you costed it out what was involved, it was very important that you look like for like, and there's a lot of little extra features which sometimes you have to pay for with other manufacturers that can take a base price to a much larger price, whereas with Hurco, out the box, had a lot of features already built in, and this was a key one.
Your colleague also mentioned the interrupt feature. He quite likes that. Tell us about that one.
Yes, well, of course, we never need to interrupt a job because everything is perfect right at the outset. But no, in reality, and especially for us, where we do a lot of prototyping jobs, so a lot of jobs are just one-offs. They're not, production runs. They're just one or two pieces. The interrupt feature is incredibly useful because you set something up and you realise you made a slight mistake, like you haven't put a coolant nozzle in the right place or anything like that. You just hit the interrupt button. The spindle retracts neatly away from the workpiece. You can check what's been going on. Then you can resume your job. The spindle comes right down and resumes straight away. Even does it with a tapping operation. You're in the middle of tapping something and you just want to stop it. Hit the interrupt button. It'll unwind the tap, retract the spindle safely. You can check what you want to do, and then you can just resume and straight away start the job again. It's really helpful.
Very helpful. And then the other point that everybody talks about with Hurco is their control. This is something that you found comfort in, didn't you, when you were looking?
Well, yes. So as I said, we embarked on this with sort of enthusiasm and intent, but we weren't experienced machinists already, and so I was very attracted to the Hurco control because just having seen it in action, it looks straightforward. I just got it. You got the various screens, tool setup screens, part setup screens, conversational programming. It was all just straightforward, and it gave me a lot of confidence that I'd be able to do good things with it.
Even setting the tools was a point that you mentioned.
Yes, well, this is something you discover. So on some machines, you learn that you have tool offsets and length offsets and height offsets, and there's separate parameters. And I understand why you might have that in certain contexts. But the Hurco also allows it supports that. So you want to do it that way, it supports that. But it also supports just having your tool set up as a library where each tool has its own parameters associated with it. And I can tell you, when you're running a prototyping operation, I think that's invaluable because you're not in the position where a single-digit error could cause a tool crash and problems there.
And I also think from a hardware element as well, there's an element of software to this as well, but the growth of the machine, it's temperature controlled here, you're obviously machining to tight tolerances. Do you monitor how the machine grows, or do you maintain the tolerances that you would expect?
Yeah, we're very careful. Yes, so we've put our own temperature monitoring on the machine. We're in a temperature controlled environment. We've sort of learnt how to get the very best out of the machine, and we can hold tolerances in critical dimensions of sub plus or 5 microns, and we know that from doing subsequent work with other operations.
And what about on a final point, David? Importantly, when you invest a lot of money in this, certainly as a new company on a journey, how did you find Hurco's support and backup and service during this sort of 6-year period?
Hurco have been very understanding, very good to work with, and I can be quite difficult at times. I ask a lot of unusual questions. I like to poke around, like to really understand things, and they've been incredibly patient with me, and I really appreciate it over the years. So yeah, they've been very good.